Hey guys, I hope you're doing a solid job and keeping up with what's happening so far. We are continuing on with more chapters, more questions, more discussion posts, and we're also moving into the next project, which will be a group project. So as you look at the schedule for this upcoming week, week 6, we are looking at architecture, we're looking at the age of faith. And I've paired these two primarily because of the grandeur, the importance we see in architecture, and how that plays into our identity in religion, in how we interpret these walls and roofs around us. Through architecture, we're going to be looking at the work of Bjarke Ingels through a short video on several of his modern projects. I have asked a few questions in the discussion board post about some of his works and to have you look into one of your favorites a little bit further. So beyond that, we're going to be responding to more questions in the discussion board post. Please look back on week 5 posts and respond to 2 classmates with a very thoughtful response to their post. Then to finish it out, please get a feel for the museum group tour project by going into the folder and scrolling down to the bottom. You will see that we're going to look at top 10 museums you can explore right here, right now. Click on the link, and it should take you to Google Arts and Culture page where you can look at virtual tours of the various museums across the globe. It may take a little bit of time to slowly move as it processes all of this information, but you can at least get an idea of a place you may be interested in going to, a place maybe you've been before, and the variety that we're looking at across the globe. Please disregard at this point a note here about the visit to Michael Amos' studio. I know several of you are out of town, and I want to make sure that we have arrangements in place for you guys to visit some studio places, so I'll be in touch about that. On another note, I had the fortune of going to St. Louis. I visited a gallery that I'm very fond of called the David Bruno Gallery. It's close to WashU campus, and I wanted to show you a little clip from that. So I'm going to play through some images that I took in this small space attached to several other small spaces. This work is by artist John Howard Young, who currently lives in St. Louis. And I wanted to focus on some of the dichotomy or differences, this balancing act of opposing forces that are happening in artworks so often, that we can really play up in these ones. Now, let me just describe them a little bit to you. This is a large pillow that has indentations of these sewn pieces to create these different forms. Some of them recognizable, some of them less recognizable. But he's using them as symbols in this textile piece. They are resting on boxes of sand. The sand is in a solid state where he's drawn a line into it or some form into it. So I bring up dichotomy because we're really looking at the push and pull of something very soft with something very hard, something very luminous with something very dull, something that is very descriptive and full of line next to something that's very minimal. And through that, we often find similarities. So what unites these are things like the similar quality of this line that goes through the sand and the lines that we see in these, I'll call them symbols, in this case grasshopper, to be able to start figuring out how these mechanisms of drawing are taking place. To throw tons of stuff at you, but I wanted to show you another space, Ramparts. I did a video there previously, and every month they have rotating shows. This one is currently up through the end of this month, and then for First Friday a whole new exhibit will be up. I know this is such a sweeping glance at these works. But I wanted to show you a brief video here of Megan Kethel-Bursett's work. She is also an instructor at Heartland Community College. And this work really shows her playfulness with a shape that's very similar to an arrow, and how this shape can be broken down, reconfigured in so many different ways to not only describe the shape, but the little bits and pieces of shapes that form in between the shapes that she's using as her primary focus. And all of those little kind of nooks and crannies that get taken up by other colors and other textures that make these works very full and complex. But she's also doing that in a very limited palette. So when I talk about limited palette, I mean literally she's only using a few colors, but she's really exploiting them by giving a little pop of very bold color next to those. So you see a lot of yellows, browns, whites, and then you'll see very, very few specks of very bold, intense color. Intense meaning fully saturated pigment, like pigment that comes straight from the tube and is not, has no interference with any other colors. It's a very true pigment. So believe it or not, both of these artists describe in their statement in the gallery, called an artist statement, about memory and how memory influences their work, how memories change over time, how collective memory builds symbols, and how these can really take a strong hold in people's visual narrative, the visual cues that really define what we think about when we think them, and how those take form. So I hope you guys, if you're around, you can take some time to run down to Ramparts and get a sense of the gallery space, get a sense of Megan's work, and if you have questions on it, ask. Ask me, ask the person there, or email Megan and ask her. I'm sure she'd be delighted to tell you anything and everything that you'd like to know about her work. So you guys have a great week. I will be in touch next week, week 7, with more details on the mid-semester exam, and also just keeping things flowing, keeping things going as we start this group project. Have a great rest of the week.